Kanban is a popular agile framework that helps organizations manage and improve their work systems. It was originally developed to streamline automotive manufacturing processes, but now has great applicability in software development and operational projects. Kanban is a great process to implement in your ITSM projects. Let's see how Kanban works. Imagine a service desk team that handles issues reported by customers. All the reported issues are collected in a centralized place and stored in the form of a list, which is named backlog. The backlog is always prioritized, either manually by someone, or automatically, based on various criteria, with the most important items at the top of the list. From this backlog, the team members are picking up items and start working on them. Each item is represented on the team's board by a card that moves across the board columns as it progresses through the workflow. When an issue is resolved, the solution is delivered to the customer, and the next item is picked up from the backlog, creating a continuous flow. In the end, the customers provide feedback about how their request was handled, and the quality of the service, helping your team continuously improve. Once implemented, for such a process to be effective, it is essential to continuously monitor and improve it. The goal is to increase productivity, avoid delays and interruptions, assure high-quality results, and, at the same time, maintain a sustainable pace for your team. But this is not always an easy job. How can you do this? By tracking essential metrics and indicators and taking actions each time is necessary. Here are some important metrics and indicators that you should track to ensure the effectiveness of the process. The best way to track metrics in Jira is to use dashboards. Jira dashboards are fully customizable, and they allow you to centralize all metrics on one page. In addition, they can be shared with other Jira users and project stakeholders. Great Gadgets for Jira is an app that gives you all the necessary gadgets for tracking all these metrics in an easy and efficient way. Let's go through all of them and see how Great Gadgets can help you. Maybe the most important metrics in Kanban are cycle time and lead time. Cycle time is the processing time between the moment your team started working on the issue and when they marked it as completed, so the time from the team's perspective. Lead time is the time from when the issue was reported to when it was delivered to the customer, so the total time from the customer's perspective. With Great Gadgets, you can track cycle time and lead time in various ways. The Control Chart gadget shows the issues by their cycle time. This chart tells you how long problems are taking the team to complete and helps you easily identify outliers. It allows you to set a threshold to easily identify the issues that took longer than expected. The Cycle Time Trend chart helps you visualize your team's average cycle time for past time intervals and its trend. You can use this gadget to see how fast your team is delivering and whether or not the response time has improved over time. The Histogram Chart gadget is a bar chart that helps you visualize the cycle time distribution by showing how many issues had cycle time in specific time ranges. You can use this gadget to see how fast your team is delivering, how many issues were resolved within the expected time frame, and how many were not. These gadgets lets you measure the time between statuses, so you can use them to track cycle time and lead time, average handle time, average resolution time, average SLA, or any part of the workflow. Tracking the time and status for your issues is important because it helps you identify where the delays are and what parts of the process flow should be optimized. Understanding how long tasks spend in each stage of the workflow helps you identify bottlenecks and understand the team performance. Using the time and status offered by Great Gadgets, you can easily calculate and display how long issues stayed in each workflow status category, or board column. The results can be displayed as a pie chart, bar chart, or column chart. This gadget lets you calculate the total time, or the average time, and it can also group the data by different criteria, such as assignee, project, or priority. Additionally, it provides a data tab, with details about the time spent in every status, for each individual issue, that can be easily exported in CSV format. SLA breaches occur when issues are not resolved within the agreed-upon time frame. Tracking SLA breaches involves monitoring the time each item spends in the workflow and comparing it against the SLA targets. Frequent SLA breaches can indicate inefficiencies in the workflow, resource constraints, or other issues that need to be addressed. Using great gadgets, you can easily identify and track SLA breaches. All you have to do is configure the gadgets to measure the lead time, and to set a threshold that represents your SLA. Doing so, the control chart gadget will display in red the SLA breaches, while the histogram chart will display the number of SLA breaches for a certain time period. On their Data tab, these gadgets will display a more detailed report with individual issues that breached their SLA. Visualizing the workflow and the work in progress, or WIP, is essential in Kanban. The Team Wallboard gadget, offered by Great Gadgets, allows you to display the contents of your team's Kanban board in real time. It can show both tasks and subtasks. Optionally, you can choose to group them in swim lanes of different types, like for example, by priority, by assignee, or by project. And it can also display WIP limits of the board columns, so you can easily find out when a limit has been exceeded. Monitoring the age of work in progress items on the Kanban board is important to identify delayed issues and take corrective action before it's too late. The WIP Aging Chart gadget offered by Great Gadgets displays the work in progress issues by their age, in the form of a scatterplot chart, grouped by their current status or board column. Monitoring WIP aging helps teams determine for how long an issue stays in its current workflow status, or how much time is left since it was created. By setting a threshold, you can easily determine those issues that stay too long in their state, so you can take corrective actions. One of the key practices in Kanban is setting WIP limits to restrict the maximum amount of work items at different stages of the workflow, to encourage a done culture and improve throughput. The WIP Run Chart offered by Great Gadgets app lets you visualize the amount of work in progress items over time, along with the trend line. It's important to track this chart, because it can help you determine if your team reached an optimal work pace, without exceeding its own capacity. A WIP trend line going up could indicate an overburdened team, while a trend line going down could indicate an understaffed team. Monitoring the workflow stability is essential when managing Kanban projects. By using the cumulative flow diagram chart offered by Great Gadgets, you can track the stability of the workflow to determine how stable it is. It consists of a stacked area chart that shows the number of work items in each stage of your process, along the time. The horizontal axis represents time, and the vertical axis represents the total number of work items. The cumulative flow diagram chart helps you identify bottlenecks and understand where you need to focus, making your process more predictable. A diagram with all the bands parallel and constant indicates a stable team pace. The done band should grow constantly to assure a stable workflow and to make sure your team keeps delivering work. If the to-do band is getting larger, that could indicate that the team has capacity problems. An expanding in progress band indicates that the rate of items in this state is faster than the exit rate, so potential blockers. If the done bar remains flat, it means your team is not completing the work as expected. The cumulative flow diagram is one of the most advanced analytics in agile project management. It not only provides information about the number of items in each state, but it can also indicate your lead time and cycle time. Additionally, the gadget can display the diagram based on few other criteria, so you can track other flow metrics, such as flow load or flow distribution. Throughput is another key metric in Kanban. It shows the average number of completed tasks delivered in a given time period, and allows you to measure and understand team performance, and diagnose potential problems based on how much work is completed. The Kanban Velocity or Throughput gadget offered by Great Gadgets app shows how many tasks your team is completing, compared to past periods, along with the rolling average and current velocity. With this gadget, you can determine your team's average delivery rate, based on past data, and see whether or not it's improving over time. Measuring customer satisfaction is essential for your overall business success. The average customer satisfaction is an important metric to track, to see how satisfied your customers are with the service provided. By using the issue filter formula gadget offered by Great Gadgets app, you can easily calculate the average customer satisfaction score, and display it on a 5-star scale, as a colored number, or as a gauge chart. The Advanced Issue Filter Formula gadget lets you display more advanced calculations, like satisfaction distribution, while the Pivot Table and Pivot Chart gadget, offered by the same app, lets you measure the average customer satisfaction score per team member, or the average satisfaction score per quarter. With these gadgets, you can easily track customer satisfaction and ensure you consistently deliver high-quality services. Complete your dashboard with other key numbers and KPIs that you consider relevant to your project. Great Gadgets gives you many options for this. Using the Advanced Issue Filter Formula gadget, you can easily display the count of issues in a filter, such as the queue size or number of urgent issues. It can also combine data from multiple filters into advanced math formulas for displaying KPIs in the form of percentages and ratios. With this gadget, you can also sum up a numerical field or calculate the average value. Using the Issue Filter Formula gadget as a gauge chart, you can display your current progress towards your goals. The Pivot Table and Pivot Chart gadget allows you to create multidimensional statistics in the form of tables and heat map tables by splitting data into multiple fields and displaying counts, sums, or percentages. Using the same gadget, you can display unique charts of different types to visualize trends and identify patterns. Remember, continuous monitoring and improvement are key to success. Use Great Gadgets to easily track all these key metrics and take your project management to the next level.